Hi there, everyone. Welcome to The Daily Gardener. I'm your host, Jennifer Ebling. It's May 16th. Do you know what to look for on a plant tag? The first major thing I look at is growing zone. Often the plant tag will give a range for the growing zone, like 5 through 9 or 3 through 7. This is why knowing your growing zone is key. If you don't know, you just need to ask someone at the garden center. They should know what zone you're growing in. Now, as an experienced gardener, let me tell you what happens to me a few times every summer. I see a plant at my garden center. I fall in love with it on site. Then I look at the tag, and what do you know? It's not for my zone. So I put it back. Now, sometimes when I do catch a plant that is being sold that's not for my zone, I like to channel my inner gingerbread man saying, ha ha ha, you can't catch me. So know your zone and check those plant tags for growing zones. Here's today's brevities. It's the birthday of Luigi Fenaroli, born today in 1899. Fenaroli is known for his book Flora of the Alps and Other Mountains, as well as his work on chestnut varieties. On this day in 1901, the botanist Charles Theodore Mohr wrote a letter expressing his relief at completing his major work, a book called Plant Life of Alabama. He said, with the completion of this life work, a big weight has been lifted off my shoulders, and I feel free to take on other tasks. As long as there is work, I will go to Tuscaloosa, to the herbarium, which I helped start 20 years ago. Completing my work on the herbarium is my botanical goal for the remainder of my life. Mohr wrote those words 2 months before his death. If you're in Winnipeg today between 11:30 and 12:30, you should head down to the University of Winnipeg and grab yourself some free seedlings as part of the 4th annual Biology Department Plant Giveaway. The fruiting and flowering plants have been cared for and grown by students in the biology department. Some of the plants you can get would be tomatoes, cucumbers, nasturtiums, and sunflowers. In Unearthed Words today, here's a poem called May from the lyrical poet Sarah Teasdale. The wind is tossing the lilacs. The new leaves laugh in the sun, and the petals fall on the orchard wall. But for me, the spring is done. Beneath the apple blossoms, I go a wintry way, for the love that smiled in April is false to me in May. Today's book recommendation is one of the trendiest new releases this summer, Wild at Home: How to Style and Care for Beautiful Plants by Hilton Carter. Carter says, having plants in your home not only adds to life, but changes the airflow throughout. It's a key design element when styling your place. For me, it wasn't just about having greenery, but having the right variety of greenery. You'll learn that you can take a fiddle leaf fig and sandwich it between birds of paradise and a monstera. And yes, you will be armed with the know-how you need to care for your plants, where to place them, how to propagate them, how to find the right pot, and so much more. Even just looking at the pictures and seeing how Carter groups plants together, you'll learn a ton. In the meantime, keep your eye peeled for Hilton Carter. Carter's definitely one to watch when it comes to styling your plants. He does a great job. Today's garden chore has to do with design. Plant some fall bloomers in the back of your garden border. Think asters, sedums, sunflowers, zinnias, and so forth. Your fall blooming plants can be tall and leggy. They often benefit from growing up through a cage or being staked. If you place them at the back of the garden, the shorter plants that are in the front can help support it and also hide the late bloomer and the supports until it's ready to shine. Finally, here's something sweet to revive the little botanic spark in your heart. It's the anniversary of the floral emblem selection for the state of Kentucky. They selected the goldenrod in 1926. It had been the bluegrass, but Kentucky gardening clubs felt it wasn't representative of the entire state. So in 1926, they pushed to get it changed, and they got it done. Goldenrod has a lot of haters. Many people confuse it for ragweed. I hate to even say that because I think it makes people think that they must look similar, but that's just not true. They don't look anything alike. I remember when I was a new gardener and I'd heard this, I just assumed every time I saw goldenrod that I had to be careful that I might be seeing ragweed at the same time and not know it. In reality, with social media today, you can jump on and search for goldenrod and ragweed and you'll see the difference right away and you'll know, yeah, there's no way I'm going to get the two confused. Once you see them individually, you can never confuse them. Ragweed's flowers are green, they're not eye-catching, while goldenrods are golden and they're actually very pretty. I saw an infographic a few years ago that said, "Goldenrod warning. If I'm here, so is ragweed. Stay indoors. Hachoo." That's what it said. This would be the same thing as saying, hey, the black-eyed Susans are blooming. So is ragweed. Hachoo, stay indoors. Or the Joe Pye weed is blooming. Stay indoors. Well, they're all late summer bloomers, whether you're talking about Joe Pye weed or ragweed or black-eyed Susans, echinacea, helenium, asters, sedums, tickseed, and so on. So it's really unfortunate that goldenrod is constantly getting paired with ragweed. There's really no reason for it. The genus name Solidago is taken from the Latin in solidum ago vulnera, and that means I make wounds whole. Native Americans and herbalists recognize the curative power of goldenrod, making wounds whole, Solidago. As I just mentioned, it's an early autumn bloomer. I have a big stand of it in the back corner of my house. And when you come down around the corner, you'll see this huge stand of goldenrod, and it's right underneath a weeping pussy willow tree. It's very beautiful. And it's good to know that with all the focus on pollinators, goldenrod is a wonderful food source for honeybees, and it makes a fantastic cut flower. So once you convince folks that they're not going to start sneezing their heads off around goldenrod, they can just relax and enjoy it in a vase inside the house. The botanical painter Anne Ophelia Todd Dowden painted the goldenrod right as she was becoming famous, and she painted it with minute detail. And when she was asked to comment on the goldenrod, she said, "Abundant it may be, but repugnant it is not." Thanks for listening to The Daily Gardener. And remember, for a happy, healthy life, garden every day. The Daily Gardener is produced weekdays in lovely Maple Grove, Minnesota. You can find complete show notes over at thedailygardener.org. And be sure to share the show with your garden friends. You can find The Daily Gardener on all your favorite social media, Instagram, Twitter, and Pinterest, and of course, Facebook. While you're over at Facebook, don't forget to join the Daily Gardener community. Just search for these 3 words, Daily Gardener Community. The group will pop right up and then request to join. Finally, I want to thank my team at Podfly Productions, where my fabulous editor is Eric Begay. Have a great day in the garden, and we'll see you tomorrow.